Okay, so this is day 3, hopefully the final day of Tehilim 137. Okay. And we'll start like we did before, which is just a review. Because I don't know about you, I haven't read this since then. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't here last week.
Well, I was gonna say no eating of bread, and the bread that I've eaten, I've not said it because it's Hanukkah. So of course that's why I didn't say it. Okay. All right. Al Naharos Bavel, Sham Yashavnu Gam Bachinu B'Zachrinu Es Tzion. By the streams of Bavel we sat. We also cried when we remembered Tzion. Oh, I have to pause the recording for 1 second. Okay, so Al Aravim B'Sochat Talinu Kinorseno. By the willows in its midst we hung our lyres. Hisham She'ilunu Shovenu Dibrei Shir V'Solalenu Simcha. For there we were asked by our captors for words of song. Those who laid waste to us joy. Shiru Lanu Mishir Tzion. What? Cool. Okay. Sing to us one of the songs of Tzion.
Can't unsee the moon.
Yeah. Also, just to repeat, another translation is for Tolaleno is in place of our crying, they asked for simcha. Okay. How can we sing a song of Hashem on? So we realized this was different last time, on the ground of a foreign god. Okay. I think that does fit better because it's contrasting with Hashem. Im eshkachech Yerushalayim tishkach yimini. If I forget you, O Jerusalem, my right hand should forget. Tidbak, and then we did see support for those who say that like it should forget its skill, and that's like your hand should forget its skill and your tongue should cleave to your palate, meaning you shouldn't be able to play music or sing. Tidbak lashoni lechiki imlo eskorechi. My tongue should cling to my palate if I don't remember you. Imlo ala es Yerushalayim v'roshim chasi. If I don't raise Jerusalem over my greatest happiness. Zachor Hashem livnei Edom es yom Yerushalayim haomrim aru aru ad hayisod ba. Remember Hashem, the children of Edom, the day of Jerusalem. Those who say lay bare until the foundation of it. Bas Bavel Hashaduda Ashe Shalom Lach Es Melech Shagamal Talana. Daughter of Bavel, the destroyed one, praiseworthy / happy is he who repays you in accordance with the manner you treated us. Ashrei Shioches V'nipetz Es Alolai Al Hasala. Praiseworthy, happy is one who grabs and smashes your babies on the rock. Okay, so the main move we made last time was to realize our big oversight, which is the huge mistake that none of us picked up on the first time, which is that this switches from Bavel to Edom. Okay, so we have basically 2 interpretations of that. And therefore that is a support that 1 through 6 is 1/2, and then 7 through 9 is the other half. So what we read was that we had 2 theories. One was the Sforno, who said, Bazem Mizmor, he is Kir HaMashor, Tsaras Churban Rishon Al Yidei Bavel. So the Mashor is talking about the catastrophe of the Churban Rishon through Bavel, the Churban Sheni by Sheni Al Yidei Edom, and the destruction of the second Beis Mikdash through Edom. Okay, V'nibe al Churban Bavel, and he's prophesying about Churban Bavel. He's Pala al Avdan Edom. He's praying about the destruction of Edom because that hasn't happened yet. Okay. We also talked about who wrote this, but this is either David Melech prophesying or this is someone at a later time. That was one opinion. The other opinion was the one that said, I think this was the Radak. Let's see. Oh, thanks. Yeah, Radak, who says, Hashlosh psukim achronim him divrei hamashor u'ba'odu mistav al galus bava ra'ab ruach hakodesh galus by sheni. No, he also says it's Edom. Okay, right. So someone else said that I forgot who it was. Said that he's not talking about Edom of the future. He's talking about Edom's conduct during the destruction by Bavel. And I actually was talking about this with Jesse Fishbein on Shabbos, and I mentioned just the issue of like, oh, Edom, and she said, yeah, Edom like mocked us and was like rejoicing over the fact that Bavel was destroying us. And whoever we read, maybe it was the Meiri. Let me look at the Meiri. Tehilim 137. 37. The Meiri, someone said that it was said that the mocking, the pain that we felt from the mocking was worse than the actual destruction, which is a huge statement, which I analogize to today. Let's see, Meiri says, no, who said it? Unless you. No, he doesn't say. Okay, I don't know who it was. Someone said that the pain of the what do you call of the mockery was worse than the pain of the destruction. Okay, yeah.
The mocking thing really fits well into the perek because it's like the Edom people are the ones who are saying those who say lay bare until the foundation of it. It's like
Oh, right.
like they're watching.
Right. I mean, they're talking about right. Yeah, that's a good point. Right. Oh, and then the other thing also is that we said that if this is talking about, oh no, sorry. Then we had a third opinion which says that only pasuk 7 is talking about the Bnei Edom, and then 8 is talking back to Bavel, which makes sense. But we identified who it's talking about, who's going to smash the babies' heads, and that is Malchus Madai, and specifically Koresh. Koresh is the one who destroyed Bavel, and he and his army smashed the babies on the rock, and that's why it is not saying that we should do that. It's saying praiseworthy is the one who does that, because praiseworthy from an objective perspective that like Bavel's getting done to them what they did to us, and it's talking about them as like another person, not us. Yeah.
And Koresh canonically did that.
Yeah, it's open pasuk apparently that many people quote. Let me just see who said this. Yeah, so Ashrei Shioches al derech achzarius k'mo shayu him achzarim al Yisrael plein amar navi hinni meir alehem as Madai. So I'm going to arouse Madai, and it says it said
It might be the next one.
it's actually the previous one first. Va'olaleim yurutashu leinem, they will smash your babies in front of your eyes. Yishasu bateim unasheim tishkavna, they will like wreck your houses and ravage your wives. And then it says also in 18, ukshasos na'arim tarash tashna ufri beten lo yirachemu, they'll smash your youths and they will not have mercy on the fruit of your womb. Albanim lo takotinam, they won't have mercy on eyes won't have mercy. So that's
him talking to Edom.
That's talking to Bavel or about Bavel. It's talking to Bavel. It's either talking to Masa Bavel. So he's a prophecy about Bavel, and he's talking about Madai, which was led by Koresh. Yeah. Oh, a random fact. Sorry, just totally random fact. I don't need to pause this. Why I'm pausing this. That it came up today. And I mentioned it earlier this year, but like I was reading an article, and the article was talking about how during Haman's time there were no korbanos. And just a fact that I didn't learn until this year, the Beis HaMikdash, the second Beis HaMikdash was built and fully operational battle station, not battle station, it was fully operational during the Purim story. Okay, I reviewed the chronology, and the chronology is that that the Jews came back and Koresh let them start building the Beis HaMikdash, and the Beis HaMikdash was dedicated and built while the Jews were still in Paras and Madai, at least according to Babylonians were long destroyed. Yeah,
because I think there was a gap. Meaning they let us come and build for like
20 years. Then they paused it.
Paused it
ceasefire.
For, ceasefire.
Yeah.
So you're saying during those 20 years when they probably made it more operational.
Yeah, I mean there was a functional mizbeach at the time apparently. Yeah. So I just wanted to mention. I know a long way away from Purim, but I just wanted to mention it because it was a fact that came up in a discussion today that like I didn't know, and this reminded me of it.
Meaning you don't bring korbanos at the very least.
Right. Yeah.
The first thing in the last pasuk is talking about like Madai or whoever would be the one who was like destroying the babies. Like it's kind of weird that we're saying they should be Ashrei, because I feel like you need to be like recognizing Hashem, have that state of Ashrei, like we talked about it before.
That's true.
You need to be like the right kind of person. And
right, if it's correct, yeah.
If it's a non-Jewish person who's just like a destroyer, they're not Ashrei. I don't think that they're
right. I wouldn't think they're Ashrei according to our definition. It's possible that it's another definition of Ashrei, like in a praiseworthy, in a objective way, like that they're carrying out the Ratzon Hashem and they're a vehicle of that. Although it is strange to call that Ashrei if they're engaging in achzarios, like that's not really a good thing. You were going to say something? Okay. Okay, then, so I think that's a recap of last time. We had Ayala's question at the very end, which is, are the feelings we're being called upon to feel based on just the human visceral reaction to what was done to us? Or should our feelings be based on a more philosophical value system? So it definitely seems to be a mix here, because this seems like natural reaction, and but like, hopefully we're elevating ourselves above that. And then the only idea I had on the way over, usually I got an epiphany on the way over, didn't happen this time. But I did have an idea, maybe it was based on reading Ayala's question. I mentioned last time that there should be some theme about memory here, because you've got all these things I highlighted in pink. B'zachrenu, imeshkachech, tishkach, eskarechi, and zachor, right? So I noticed that the first instance of remembering is natural. Okay, by the streams of Bavel we cried when we remembered Zion. So it's just you're naturally going to remember Zion because you're being taken away from Zion, recently. Okay, fine. Then the middle instances of remembrance are referring to Zikaron as an act of will. Okay, and recognizing that it's in our Bechira. If I forget you, O Yerushalayim, then may I forget. May my right hand forget, and if I don't raise Yerushalayim over my high simcha. So that's talking about how you can control your zechira, okay? And then the last one is asking Hashem to remember, which seems to be the highest level of zechira. In other words, maybe the way I would put it is like this: is the first one is, and I don't want to degrade Klal Yisrael by saying this, but like it's an animalistic zechira, meaning it's purely psychological. Even people who have no connection to Hashem remember when their city is destroyed, right? So it's a natural remembering. The second one, it has to be an act of will, and it's making a value judgment that if I don't remember what Yerushalayim stood for, then my whole idea of simcha is distorted and I have no right to sing. So that's like a human act of zechira. And then the highest level is zechira as a mashal for hashgachas Hashem, which is like a highest level of zechira. So I don't know if we can go anywhere with this, but I just noticed a progression there. It's not just random zechiras. Okay, so plan for tonight. If any of you have ideas, this is the time to say it. If not, we're gonna have a nice little Hanukkah feast. Have the Malbim spoon feed us his idea, and we'll work it out according to him. Because I was too busy writing my article about Hanukkah donuts, which I finished a half an hour ago, which is gonna go up tomorrow. So yeah. So I was thinking about that instead of this. Yeah.
Jelly donuts,
Yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah, Ellie.
One thing, I know we touched on this last week about the relationship between Edom and Bavel.
Yeah.
And did we come up with any idea of how the two are connected?
Only that that if it's talking about contemporary Edom, then Edom was cheering on Bavel as they destroyed us. And if it's talking about Edom in the future, then it's Edom that we're under Galus Edom now, under Rome. And it's, as I think the way that whoever put it was the author of this was prophesying about Galus Bavel, and in the midst of prophesying, he prophesied about Galus Edom in the future.
So in that case, he was prophesying about two different.
Yeah, right. And the thing that they have in common is we can't have Yerushalayim rebuilt until, like, Yerushalayim being rebuilt is going to be the finishing of the culmination of all the Galus forever.
And
Yeah.
we ruled out any possibility of that entire blue from 7 on being all in quote, right? That
I think we ruled that out. Yeah,
right.
yeah, it was a good move, but yeah,
All right. Fine.
Yeah. got nothing. Okay, it's a hard one.
It's a very
Can we take a couple? Can we get a couple?
Sure.
minutes?
confounding.
10 minutes.
Yes, it is.
So
There's just one thing which we didn't say explicitly, I don't think, unless we said this in this first session, is the emotional tone is also very different between 1 and 6 and then 7 through 9. In 1 through 6, it's very mournful. He's being Abel, and then 7 through 9, it's like
Revenge almost.
vengeful. Yeah,
vengeful,
right. Yeah, what are you saying?
That's the vibe I get.
actually, he's raising his hand nicely. I'm not.
I mean, I don't have a full idea.
Your right hand forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe if Ariel's idea is fuller, we can go to what you were saying.
Yeah.
But like maybe what I'm thinking about is like maybe somehow the second half is like a fulfillment of the desire in the first half. That like they're saying in the first half, like they don't want to forget and they want the remembrance to be like a real remembrance of Jerusalem. So maybe the way that the remembrance of Jerusalem is like accomplished, the only way it can really be accomplished is by Hashem bringing it back, by like by Hashem being the one who like sort of enacts like bringing the people back to Jerusalem and like getting revenge on those who like destroyed it.
So that is going off of a good observation, which is that we have no active part in the second half. The only active part we have, we're passive in the first half insofar as we are victims, but we also are active in terms of like not forgetting Yerushalayim and then raising it over our simcha. But apparently that's not enough. Yeah, all right, that's a good observation.
Right.
Yara?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask a question. So because I wasn't here last week, what exactly do we add any other questions since last week?
I think I only
There's one
added
fact. There is one major fact that
right.
that there's a difference. in
Right.
the-
Yeah. Well, aside from Ayala's question, which I already read here about like what the nature of the emotions is here, I thought I typed in a question that we didn't have in the first session. Maybe not. No, I don't think we really added any major questions.
Okay.
Yeah. I had Ellie.
Yeah, it seems like the first half, I know there's this idea, amongst like people who focus or like know a lot about like communication, how when you're trying to make a request, you have to describe the events first and then express your request afterwards. So like the first half seems to be like that description of, there, we thought we tried and we couldn't play the music, and maybe I guess the 2 plus looking for that, like 5 and 6 would be somewhat of a segue into the rest of it, which would be more of a request to.
So you're saying it's a preface to our request from Hashem?
Yes.
Ah.
Or, yeah.
Okay, so that actually is an answer to a question that I was wondering about, which is what is the connection between the first half and the second half? I mean, I know that's what we always ask, but like, if the essence of the second half is a bakasha of vengeance, so then what is the relationship between the two? So Eli is suggesting that that like the basis of us asking Hashem to remember the children of Adam to punish them, this is also kind of connected with what Isaiah is saying, that this is only going to come about to the extent that we remember and like have the feelings in the first half. In other words, like this almost reminds me of there's a statement, let me see if I can find it.
Make his will your will.
That too. Komis Abel al Yerushalayim. Komis Abel al Yerushalayim Zocha v'roe b'simchasa. Anyone? Oh, some Sparia. Okay, whatever. I don't even know how to use this site. Okay, so I'm just gonna go to Al Torah 30 Amud Beis. 30 in Tinus Amud Beis. Kol ha, yeah. Kol ha misablim aleha mikan kol misablim al Yerushalayim v'zoche v'roe b'simchasa. So anyone who mourns over Yerushalayim will merit and see in its joy, rejoicing. V'she'ena misablim al Yerushalayim eno roe b'simchasa. And if you don't mourn over Yerushalayim, then you will not see its simcha. So it's, I'm not saying it's the same idea, but it's a similar thing of like if you are not recognizing the value of Yerushalayim and what you lost to the point where you're crying over it, and to the point where like you can't bring yourself to sing songs. So if you're not at that state, then why would you be zoche for Hashem to rebuild it? Like you're not going to be getting anything if you rebuild it, So only people who are truly feeling its loss will merit to have that Hashem take this, carry this out. So it's I think that is an extension of what Eli is saying. It's like we only have the right to ask Hashem to remember this and to take vengeance if we actually are misabel in it properly. Which again, hard to not do commentary on the current events right now, but especially when we don't have this full idea here. But I do feel like there are a lot of people who are calling for vengeance, who don't actually know why we value Israel, and like what exactly are we defending and why? Like if you defending Israel is the same as any nationality defending its nation, there's a basis for that. I mean, like that's a natural thing to do, but is that why Hashem is going to be, when we say like Hashem yikom damam, like is that why Hashem is going to take vengeance? Or do we actually have to understand what we lost? Yeah, Chaim?
Yeah, I think also in the same vein, using the idea of the Rabbi Trackman idea that anytime that, I mean, he says it for the Torah, but I mean, that's not his idea either, but I don't think original one. But like the idea that anytime is like a pasuk's telling you like God should or does this thing,
Yeah.
is really a halach b'drachav thing.
Right.
So like
That
we're
we should
telling God-
remember.
You're right. We're telling God to remember. Really, we're saying that we should remember.
Right. Because God doesn't forget.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I wonder if
Yeah, I think someone said that last time also, that's yeah, it's definitely for us. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, but we're dancing around some idea here, you know. Let's do this. Let's go to the Malbim, okay, and maybe it'll trigger our thoughts in a different way, okay. And just to reiterate, when I say that the Malbim is spoon feeding, I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that the Malbim is one of the few Pirushim that like, and this is true of all the Malbim, you know this. You can read the Malbim and just get a shiur on whatever it is that he's commenting on. Like he just talks it out so clearly. The only like downside is it's easy to shut off your mind because he's so clear, you know?
I recently found out why he's so critical on each word. I recently found out.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know if Goro, I think, told me this because like I think one of the you know, like philosophers in the world who were against, you know, the Jewish philosopher or whatever,
Yeah.
like one of the critics on the Torah was that like, you know, how can you have a word that can be used in multiple ways?
Right.
So to argue against it, he like, I don't know.
That's interesting.
specifically-
I wrote my own
That's
theory on
interesting.
that with the this article, Parshas Veskana methodology about Ibn Ezra versus Malbim. That's what they look like. Yeah, no. But they the Malbim writes out. Oh, I need to edit this article. But the Malbim writes out why he holds that there's no such things as synonyms in Hebrew, or
Interesting.
yeah. But yeah, he has. a whole
I'll
thing.
ask him if he has a source for that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Apparently, the place to find it though is, I think. Oh yeah, the Malbim lays out his whole approach in the Haggai to Sefer Yeshayahu. Okay, which I never would have like looked at, you know, for like the. So that's where he lays out his whole philosophy. Okay, all right. So let's do what was it?
That's a surprising place for
It is, yeah. It might have been the first
Yeah.
commentary that he started. Okay, so let's do the Malbim here.
Middle of, you know, no.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone have a Malbim who wants a Malbim? Okay. Yeah, okay. All right. So he says, Nisyasid, is this the right place? Yeah, okay. Nisyasid, Lashana Harishona, Shekavash Koresh as Bavel. So this was, I think, we assume when he says Nisyasid means it was, this was written, okay? The first year that Koresh conquered Bavel. Okay, so we're even like, post destruction of Bavel, or sorry, post Galus Bavel, post Bavel's destruction of Yerushalayim.
Right.
Bavel's being destroyed. Yeah.
But is it like Purim time? Is it like before Purim, after Purim?
I don't know. You know what? I'm just gonna get the.
Like Mordecai time?
Hold on
Yeah.
here. Let me bring up the timeline.
Was Koresh like a descendant of Haggai?
Hold on just one second. Koresh was not. Koresh was
It was Daryavish, right?
Daryavish. Yeah.
But I know, but Daryavish didn't he have a child Koresh or vice versa? I don't remember.
Sounds a little familiar, but I don't know.
I don't know. There's like a whole close to tomorrow about that.
Oh, I thought you were like Yosef. Like,
Oh, no,
like,
no, no,
like,
no,
like,
no.
that's-
Timeline of Persian kings.
Joseph does all of Asia.
Like Cyrus the Great, no? Is it
Yeah,
or
this-
Cyrus the Great? He was the one who sent us back down
Yeah.
to Earth as well.
Yeah. Hold on just one second here. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what is even cooler? Or not even cooler, but I think this is really cool. We'll just do a little Wikipedia
Yeah.
thing here. Hold on just one second here.
I remember. I think.
Okay, so if you look at the Shah of Iran, who was the before Iran had the the revolution or whatever. So if you look at this is just really cool. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I ruined it. But the list. So like if you go through the Iranian kings, right? It is like this continuous line that goes all the way up, like year after year, all the way back to
Sure.
no to
Sheesh.
Wow.
to all the way back to
Alexander the Great.
nope, back further because Alexander the Great is Greece,
Xerxes.
Greek, all the way back to Koresh. Yeah,
Wow.
so it's just like it's a you know I don't know, I get lost in these Wikipedia thingies going all the way back for monarchs, and like that one's pretty cool, you know. Yeah,
Cyrus the Great.
yeah, the Great King, the King of Kings. Yeah, right. So I wanted to show you the timeline of Persian.
King of Summer. That was
Kings.
Sumer. Sumer. I don't know. Over here, it's like.
Oh, hold on a second. I had a better one. I did have this as a PDF. There we go. Timeline of Persian emperors without my fingers here. Okay. Yeah. So Persian emperors who ruled during the biblical period. Cyrus the Great, Koresh, Cambyses, never mentioned in Tanakh. Okay. I have a meme about that. Okay, hold on a second. I'm irrationally proud of this meme. What did I call it? Oh no, hold on.
Was he the son of him?
Oh, hold on a second. Wait. Oh, I'll have to show you later. Hold on. Cambyses. Cambyses. Oh, why is it not coming up? Okay, I'll show you later. All right, anyway, so Daryavish, Xerxes, that's Ahasuerus, and then Artaxerxes. All right, so you have here, timeline is in Ezra chapters 1 through 4, the years 538 through 536, return to Zion. 42,000 people returned to Zion, built the altar, and began laying the foundations of the temple. Okay, next you have era of Haggai and Zechariah. Rebuilding is encouraged after a hiatus. That was what you're talking about, due to enemy interference. Completion of the second temple and celebration. So that's when they actually celebrate the Binyan Bayesheni. Okay.
Yeah.
Then a letter written by the Jews' enemies, slandering the Jews. Then the Purim story.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was saying earlier. And this is, we're talking here, 516. And so we're talking a good like 40-ish years after the building of the of this. Now I don't know if this is unanimous, but this is in according to like both Tanakh chronology, like, and I guess consistent with modern knowledge. Ezra comes to Israel after that, then what was that?
I guess the Kohanim to divorce their wives or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's he gets the Kohanim to divorce their wives, their non-Jewish wives, and then I don't know what this is, and then Nehemiah rebuilds the walls, and that's the end there. Yeah.
That's like wild.
Yeah, right.
That's like Plato time, right?
It's like what?
Plato time.
I was just looking that up. Yeah.
It's so wild to me, like thinking of like.
Who else was around during that time? I think Buddha.
Really?
Buddha was in Siddhartha Gautama 563 or 580 to like 480 to like 483 to 400. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of things happening then.
Of like.
Yeah, right. Don't they call it the axial age, or is that something different? The axial age. Yeah. The period 500 to 300 BC, the period during which most of the main religious and spiritual traditions emerged in Eurasian societies. It's a whole thing about
It's
that.
funny because like when I took my ancient history class,
Lao Tzu also, I think. Yeah.
when I took my ancient history class, it was a little shocking that my professor said this, but he said that the Jews became a monotheistic religion after Xerxes or whoever sent us down to build the second base of the
That's what a lot of academics.
That's what they said. Yeah,
say,
yeah,
right.
I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we had a lot of Vodazar during that time.
Yeah, that's true. So I think that's why they say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say
So
that.
why did I go? Oh, so you were asking when was this, right? So
So
did I just
it's
close
before
this?
the perm story.
Not Angelina Jolie, Angel. Let's go back here again. Right. So this is. So I guess this is. Yeah, it's before the Purim story. Sometime between 539 and 530. Yeah.
So that, I mean, I'm guessing we're gonna get to it, but I'm assuming that means that the Edom part is Nebuah, right?
So then the Edom part would be contemporary.
Well, it depends.
Right. If this was written during the time of Koresh, and well, it was like, I guess we have to figure out which Edom it's talking about. Yeah. So we'll see. Okay. So on Naharos Bavel, Mashe Bachinu Bavel B'Hisabel Al Zion, that which we cried in Babel and mourned on Zion, Lo Haya Ba'avur She'avadnu HaTobos Hagashmios Me'Ha'osher V'Hakinyanim Shsadus L'Kramim. This was not because we lost out on the physical goods of wealth and possessions of fields and vineyards. Igam al Naharos Bavel Sham Yashavnu, because also on the rivers of Bavel there we dwelled. Sham Yashavnu Yeshivas Keva. So it doesn't mean we sat; it means we settled. Okay. Lanu Gam Sham Nachlo Sade V'Kerem. We had rivers and vineyards there and fields. Banu Batim V'Shavu V'Shabo Natu Ukrami V'Achlos Piryan. We had the whole civilization there. Uv'Cholzeh Gam Bachinu B'Zachrin Es Tzion. But even with all that, or B'Cholzeh Gam Bachinu B'Zachrin Es Tzion. We also cried when we remembered Zion. Because we remembered the Kedusha of Zion. Shesham Haya B'Beis Mikdash V'Ha'avoda V'Hashchina Al Zeh Bachinu. That's what we cried about. Osher haruchani shenevad mi'itana. So I'm bringing this in kind of artificially, but I was talking with Rindy about like the founding of Israel, and the real hardcore Zionists, the secular Zionists, were the ones who, and I forgot who was on which team, the ones who said like, who were moving with the Uganda plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
That if we just had, give us land in Uganda and we'll be just as happy. Like that's the antithesis of what he's describing here, because that's saying all we want is the Tolos Gashmios, and all of the Kedusha and Shechina and Zion we don't really care about. This is the opposite. Even though we had all this wealth in Bavel, we're crying about losing Zion. Yeah, okay. Now the question that this raises in my mind is, why are we talking about this at the time of Koresh? This is just a weird time to say that this is, yeah, like if anything, we should be like rejoicing that we could go back. Who is saying this? What are we saying this for? Yeah.
Whoever he is was definitely talking in the past tense.
Right.
Sham Yashav knew.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even think about tenses through this whole thing. We'll see if we can follow the tenses. Okay. Al Aravim Basocha, on the willows in it. Hagam Shayalana Babavel Kol Hatanugim Ha'aravim Unim Laguf. Oh, is he learning Aravim as not willows, but like sweet things? He doesn't say in the Bira Milos.
We hung our lyres and sweet things.
Let's see. Even though we had all the enjoyments and sweet things and pleasant things for the body, on this itself, we hung our lyres. Sounds like he's saying it's a metaphor. But we did not want to rejoice in the good. That itself was a cause for mourning. So in other words, we're crying about the fact that, okay, so I think he's saying this, all Aravim Basocha, on all of the sweet things in Bavel, we hung our harps up. Meaning for that, we hung our harps up, meaning we were crying even more because Bavel is so built up and Yerushalayim is so destroyed. Yeah, very poetic.
Very modern calendar.
Yeah, right. I'd say there's something else I'm thinking of other than Bavel, yeah. Hisham she'elunu shovenu divrei shir. There our captors asked us for words of song. Shaya haminhag b'yemei kedem l'shorer shirin b'sipur shevach ha'aretz v'hamadina asher heim ba. So the minhag in those times was to that singers should sing songs recounting the praise of the land and the country that they're in. Right. So in other words, sing us patriotic Babylonian songs. All right. Just like we used to sing about Yerushalayim. They asked us about these songs. V'tolalenu she'elunu divrei simcha. And our captors asked for us words of simcha. Their question was, Shiur lanu mishir Tzion, sing us one of the songs of Tzion. Shir shehayisim mishorim b'shevach Tzion uv'hatzlachasachem ba. Sing us the song, a song that of the praise of Tzion and the success that you had there. Did I say this the first time? I had another here. I'll replace your meme with another meme. I think I said this last time, but this is Denethor telling Pippin to sing a song of joy from the shiur while he's sending out Faramir to be annihilated at Osgiliath.
What is this?
Oh, that was me. Okay, I thought you were talking about something else. Okay, fine.
No,
Yeah, yeah, just speaking in tongues. Yeah, yeah, right. Okay,
You said that last time.
yeah, I did say the last time. Okay, fine.
That was the meme that you sent.
Okay, I wasn't sure because you weren't here last time, so I wasn't sure if I said it or sent it or whatever. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I actually didn't even watch you. I saw the.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The thumbnail. And I was
Right.
Like, I know what it is.
Right. Okay. So Shiru lanu, sing for us. Ki ata Bavel hi lachem eretz achuzaschem. Oh, now Bavel's your home. Right, Bavel's your land. Kamo Yerushalayim, just like Yerushalayim. But Eretz Kasdim and the land of the Chaldeans, that's the Babylonians. Hi artzchem, that's your land. Kamo Eretz Yisrael lifnim, just like Israel used to be before. Right, this is the new Israel. V'hatzlachos shayu lachem shama halo yesh lachem imanu, and all those successes that you had, don't we have them? All the good things. Madulo tashiru al Bavel hashir she'isim sharim al Yerushalayim. Why aren't you singing the songs about Bavel that you used to sing about Yerushalayim? Right, Bavel shel zahav, yeah.
Question. It's interesting because, like, I thought Bavel had an interesting, unique kedusha there. Well, when I mean with kedusha, I mean like
right. There is a status of Bavel,
interesting.
but that was not at this time. That's at the time of the Gemara.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, let me put it this way: I've never heard anyone say that about that time. The only thing that those Gemaras there is that it was usher to leave Bavel while the Nevuah said they had to stay there for 70 years. But then once Yerushalayim was rebuilt and they were going back, they had to go back. Yeah, but the elevated status of Bavel was only when the Gemara was written there, or when not just the Gemara written, when the Chachmei Israel were there. Okay, so this is he's really painting a story here, right? That Bavel is basically taunting us, saying it's actually unclear whether they're taunting us maliciously, but they're saying, look, you guys used to sing great things about your land. You're in our land now. Sing us, about our land. And we're just as good, if not better, than Yerushalayim was, and they don't understand what we're really lost. Okay, eighth, Meshivim lay more. So we respond saying, eighth nashir shir Hashem al masnechar hagam shnuchal l'shir lachem shir ha'hatzlacha hagashmis shahinu sharim b'tzion. Even though we could sing you the songs about physical success that we sang in Tzion, ki gam po anu matzlichem b'hatzlachos. We were successful here. About shir Hashem, shir hakadosh. Shahinu Sharim B'Tzion, but the song of Hashem, the holy song that we sang in Tzion, Al Shchinas Hashem Asher Ba, on the Shechina of Hashem that was there, Al Hofaz Ruach HaKodesh V'Nevuah V'Kavod Hashem, on the manifestation of Ruach HaKodesh and Nevuah and the glory of Hashem V'Hatorah V'Havodah V'Anisim Shir Hazeh Eloki Eich Nashir Osol Ad Masnechar. How can we sing that on foreign soil? Habilti Muchan L'Sgulos Ela HaRuchanios, that is not doesn't lend itself to these spiritual phenomena, right? Yeah.
Well, the question is, I'm a little confused as to which songs the Babylonians want them to sing. Do you want them to sing the shiur that they sing?
So it sounds like they want them to sing songs about how good they have it in Bavel, and their concept of the good is limited to the physical successes. And Israel's saying, even if we sang the songs about the physical successes we enjoy in Bavel, the real things. And Bavel is comparing it to what they used to do in Yerushalayim. And the Jews are saying, no, you don't understand. The things we were singing about in Yerushalayim were of a completely different nature. And we can't sing that song here.
The question is, when he says, Shir
Okay, yeah.
Right. How can we sing that great song?
Yeah.
So
the way
that sounds like either the question is, either the request is, sing your songs from back then, or they misunderstood the request.
So I think he's saying, sing us a song. Yeah, I see. Right. Right. I mean, you are right, Hayyim. The Malbim is saying in the end of his commentary on Gimel, right? I'm interpreting that to mean that they're not distinguishing. They're saying that, like, you sing songs about your good state of your flourishing in Yerushalayim, sing songs now about your flourishing in Bavel that are the same songs. And they don't understand that they're about different things.
Well, but it says shiur alone mi shir Tzion at the pasuk, right? It says,
right. Right. But in other words, I think that's being stated from the Babylonian perspective, that there is no difference. That the songs of Tzion, like, yeah, it's the same. In other words, like, just do find replace on all the references to Tzion and put Bavel there, because Bavel is good just like Tzion was. And they're saying, no, it would have to be a completely different song. We can't sing that song here. That's how I'm understanding it.
Oh, meaning you guys already have your songs that you know.
Yeah.
Just sing it with Bavel.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
I mean, like it could even be like kind of like we said before, it could even be like a semi-innocent request where it's like, oh, we've captured new people, which was a normal thing to do back then.
Yeah.
And we want to hear your songs.
Yeah.
Bring us your culture.
Right. It doesn't have to be malicious. I'm not sure if it's
But right. But so that would actually make sense then that it switches to Edom later. And that's why we're bashing Edom's kids in. As opposed to, because meaning if you're bashing Bubbles, like, it wouldn't make sense, because if it's just a semi-innocent request.
Right, if it is innocent, I right now I'm saying it could go both ways.
Right.
I think,
I'm saying the fact that we're not bashing in Bubbles' kids,
right?
And rather, it's
okay, right. That would support the fact that Edom is the one who's like being bad and cruel, whereas Bubbles not necessarily being cruel.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they destroyed your slime. Yeah.
If you think the word captive then the best permanent, I don't know what that's Hebrew.
Yeah, Shovenu.
Shovenu, is that?
I mean, it is factual that they were our captors. They did capture us and take us to Babel.
They did destroy.
Right. Okay, let's go on.
Right. They weren't good.
They were not good.
In this instance, they're not
right. They're
as malicious as it sounds.
Right. Okay, Imish Kosek Yerushalayim Tishkach Yamini. Yamlit, so it's being poetic. Shekmo shahayamin hi muchenes el ha'adam b'chol tenuosav v'izkav. Just like a person's right hand is like his right hand man is like ready to do all of his movements and his activities. Kain Yerushalayim hi chibas kol tenuosenu v'iskeno. So too Yerushalayim is the most beloved of all of our movements and dealings, to the point where we can't forget it. So in other words, like all of the best stuff that we do in our lives is done through your right hand. Yerushalayim is the cause of all of our best stuff and all of the, the thing that we cherish the most. V'yoser mizeh ki tidbak lashoni l'chiki. More than this, let my tongue cling to my palate, in lo eskorech, they don't remember you. Shekol diburai hu b'cha. All my speech is about you. V'im lo adaber mizikronecha. If I don't speak about your remembrance, ehiyeh ilem, I would be like a mute person. Asher lashono l'chika davka, whose tongue clings to his palate. V'lo levad ve'eshani gola v'sura. Not only when I'm exiling and wandering. Kigam im lo es Yerushalayim roshim pasi. Also, if I don't raise Yerushalayim over my greatest simcha, gam im eshmach batzlachas olam, if I rejoice about the success of the world, now that makes much more sense. Tiyeh Yerushalayim ola alehem, Yerushalayim should get above them. Ad shekol simcha tehapech laotev aydei zikron churbana, to the point where all simcha changes into sadness because of its destruction. So in other words, that's a closer connection to the song that the Babylonians want us to sing. They want us to sing about how great we have it in Bavel, and we're saying that if we get to that point, like then that we've forgotten Yerushalayim. Like that's the antithesis of remembering Yerushalayim. Okay, now we switch. Zechor Hashem, and hopefully this answers Eli's question. Im ani zocher tamid as Yerushalayim umisabel alaha. If I remember constantly Yerushalayim and moreover, koshkein she'ata Hashem yesh laha lizkor livnei Edom es yom churban Yerushalayim asher him azru lahachriva. So he is talking about the Babylonians. The Edomites back then. So he's saying that Hashem should certainly remember the children of Edom, the day of Yerushalayim, the historical day of Yerushalayim, that they helped to destroy it. Bas Bavel, the daughter of Bavel, Vihine Bavel Kavar Nishdada Az Aidekar. So now it makes sense. Bavel was already destroyed at that point by Koresh. Okay, so this addresses Alter's thing. Right, Alter wanted to change it to daughter of Babylon, the despoiler, and he said it can't be past tense. Well, guess what? It's past tense because we're talking about after it was already destroyed. Okay, Malbim says so. You don't have to switch around the letters like Alter wanted to do. Omer Bas Bavel Hashaduda Ukvar Heichel Hashem L'Shalem Lach, and Hashem has already begun to pay you back. Ashrei Shalem Lo Levad Hamaseh Shal Churban. Happy is he that pays you back not only for the act of destruction, ki gam es gemulech shegamalta lanu, should even the gemul that you were gomel to us. And he says shegeter hagemul hu mish ose eze davar ide hispalios ava eva. So gemul means actions that are done out of an arousal of love or hate, like milus chesed or gomel ra. Shama shemasha asisa lanu. That which you did to us, that which you, Bas Bavel, did to us out of hatred and enmity, he should repay you in your with sin and nakama. Yeah.
But which is back to Bas Bavel.
Yeah, Bas Bavel, right? Which I assume Bas Bavel is it might be calling it Bas. He didn't say this, but he might be calling it Bas Bavel because these are the descendants of the people who actually destroyed Bavel, right? Like literally the offspring of Bavel. Okay, last one, and then we'll try to figure it out. That's what I read earlier, I think, the Nevuah. That was fulfilled when Koresh went up and destroyed it in its entirety. Yeah.
That wasn't Edom.
That was not Edom, Rome Edom. And this was not even... Yeah, this is the people who smashed the babies were the Persians, or the Medians.
But people whose baby got smashed were the Babylons.
Were the Babylonians, yeah.
Oh, so it's not good. I want to say before.
So it is not good.
But why is it not good?
I want to say before that, like, you see that it wasn't such a bad thing that the captors wanted, and then that's why we're.
Oh, right. Yeah, we are depicting them as evil, right? Yeah. Is you gonna say, Akiva? You would say something? Yeah.
Why is it a good thing that they're bashing Bavel babies?
No, it is good that Bavel is getting what it deserves.
Yeah.
But you're saying that us wanting to be down the Zechus on the Babylonian captors asking us to sing, there's no need.
Being meters of Achzarios.
Yeah, there's no need for us to say that those Babylonians were like doing something like innocent.
They were bad.
Yeah, they're bad. Yeah. Okay, so the question now is, let's go to our Adler's questions, and turn them onto the Malbim. Okay, so what is the perek saying as a whole, and what of it? What's the purpose of it? Yeah.
Well, I think the perek is highlighting really what Yerushalayim meant to us,
Right.
Means.
means to us.
Yes. Yeah.
Will mean to us.
Yeah.
I think that's because it's like they're already at this point going back to Yerushalayim. It seems like they're sort of reflecting on like when it was destroyed and when we didn't have it. Like this is what we lost. It wasn't like we lost. It wasn't like we lived the same life when we were in Babel as we did beforehand. It
Right.
was like life was kind of like completely lacking the kedusha that we had really like hoped for, and now we're recognizing.
Yeah. Okay, I got the idea based on that. Okay, I think this is the idea. So Rabbi Moskowitz always used to quote Tehilim, even though there's psukim in Mishlei like this also, I think. Ohave Hashem sinura, right? Those who love Hashem hate evil. Okay, so you ask the average person thinks that they hate Hamas, that they hate Nazis, that they hate evil people, right? But most people's hatred is just their own psyche. It's just their own, like it's not the same type of hatred that Hashem has. Okay. Well, Hashem obviously, it's not the Valach B'drachav of Hashem hates evil, right? Okay, but the real hatred comes from the fact that people who are an enemy of the good. Okay, so here's what I think the idea of the perek is, that it's parallel to what we were saying, like for our pshat, but it's saying like this: is the only one who has the right to rejoice over God fulfilling his vengeance against our enemies and to cheer them on is someone who actually appreciates what our enemies did to us, which is causing the actual loss of the Beis Hamikdash and the Avoda and the Shechina and Ruach Kodesh and Nebuah. So if you're the type of person who's basking in Babylonian luxuries and like being all comfortable with stuff, and you're saying, yeah, those Babylonians are so bad, well, you're partaking in the same value system that they are, and you seem pretty happy that you're in this value system, So like, what right do you have? Not what right do you have? It's not a matter of right. Who do you think you are to be like cheering on Hashem for taking vengeance against those people? Again, this is a very common thing that we're finding in Tehilim, is it turns the emotions onto us, that like, oh, who are you like here? Are you identifying with the Jews who were mourning over Yerushalayim, or are you identifying with the Babylonians who are reveling their success? And if you want to engage in this either being mispala to Hashem to remember the Bnei Edom and say to destroy it, or if you want to be rejoicing about like the destruction of these people, you have to remember what they did. It's not just that they like, took your stuff, and it's not even that they kicked you out of your land. It's the fact that they destroyed they were Mechal Shem Shemayim, and they destroyed Torah, Kimitzion Teitze Torah Udvar Shem Yerushalayim. They were an obstacle to the Dvar Hashem, So, and to the extent you remember that and internalize that, then you can like revel in the revenge. Yeah. Now I will add, someone brought this up last time, I think. Maybe it was you. Someone brought it up last time. Maybe it was you. The Jews singing Shira at Yam Suf. Right? Yeah. And Hashem tells the angels not to, because Maseh Yadai Tava B'Yam. So there, the matir for singing Shira is that you were saved. So if you're saved, then you have the right to rejoice because you experienced the Teshuas Hashem, But the rejoicing over the downfall of the Rishayim, in Tehilim has to be from having the same value system that Hashem has, so to speak, By the way, there's a mishleik, there is a mishleik rejoicing over the destruction of the Rishayim. There's a lot of psukim about that, where like, if you just realize that the Rishayim are promoting, injustice and stuff like that, and or they're like, blocking the good, that itself, I mean, that's also in line with Hashem's values. Meaning, I'm saying that there's a level on Mishlei where you're not necessarily relating to Mikdash and Avoda and Korbanos, but you're relating to the Rishayim as being genuinely evil, and you're happy that they're destroyed. But the highest level is this one where you're rejoicing, like Hashem, rejoices over the destruction of his enemies, and you're partaking in that joy. Yeah, Ali?
But are we categorizing the babies of the Rishayim with the Rishayim?
I think that's a detail. I think that's just the fact that I think we are used to thinking of we used to think of babies as people. I mean, yeah, babies are people, but like if we were more used to war, we would realize that this type of thing is just like casualties of war.
It's just another aspect.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it is interesting just how you reconcile this halachically, because we as a policy don't kill women and children, except with the Shiva Amamin and Amalek, who don't make peace, right? And this is not Shiva Amamin or Amalek, but but then again, we're also not carrying out the killing.
Right.
What was that?
Yeah.
They didn't make peace.
They did not make peace. That's true. Yeah.
I mean, it's not us doing the killing.
Right. Yeah. So I think this is a good message, right? I mean, so the purpose of this, so in terms of the purpose, we're supposed to internalize here. We'll definitely internalize that you should be sad about Yerushalayim, right? But I think this thing that we were picking up on of like identifying with, of like, I don't know about you, I mean, I'm happy in America, and that is a problem, right? Because Imlo Alas Yerushalayim Rosh Simchasi, so if I have any of these feelings of like, rooting for Hashem to destroy our enemies, it's certainly fine to have those feelings, but don't fake yourself out and think that you're feeling righteous anger or righteous hatred, unless you're also feeling, in other words, unless you feel the sadness for the actual loss of Mikdash and Avoda and Nevuah and all that stuff, then you're not actually feeling the righteous anger. And the anger that you are feeling might be good lo lishma, but it's not the righteous anger that this is. And if we tie it to our idea, Hashem will only remember the Bnei Edom in terms of, now we can switch to the modern Edomites, in terms of he'll only remember that to the extent that we actually don't forget Yerushalayim and raise it over the Rosh Hashanah. Yeah. Thank you, Malbim, for spoon feeding us. See, that was good. This is a good example, right? He gave us everything that we needed, but we still had to work on what is the main idea and what is the purpose of it. And he didn't spell that out because that's not a style. He's a commentator. He's not he's not actually giving shiur, but he gave us all the tools that we needed. So I think this is a good, I mean, I had toyed with doing this over the last 3 years about doing a full perek with a Malbim. It's not my style because I like to work it out, but if you want to learn Tehilim on your own, Malbim is just very good. It's also very easy to read. I mean, yeah. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Yeah.
Yeah, so benching.
Benching. Oh, yeah. What about it?
I mean, we're supposed to for benching.
Oh, yeah, right. So
I'm just curious with this idea.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that actually, this fits even better now for benching. So what I said about benching, thanks for reminding me. What I said about benching last time is that what do we do with saying this by benching? So I said it's about the hashgacha, right? And it's about how, the birkas mazon is about mazon is the first bracha, the aretz is the second bracha, and then Yerushalayim is the third bracha, and then hatov hametiv is the fourth bracha. So it's about starting on the hashgacha that relates to you in terms of posech as you must be chayratzon, and then branching outwards into reflection on all the hashgacha. And then I said al Naharos Bavel is recognizing a gap in the hashgacha, right? That you can't fully be mishabeach. I mean, you could be mishabeach God, but you can't fully treat the hashgacha as good because there's a gap in the hashgacha. That's why he said al Naharos Bavel. According to the Malbim, I think there's an added idea you could say about al Naharos Bavel before benching. Yeah,
You could say that I guess eating reflects a very physical action.
Yeah.
And that you could eat in Israel and you could eat outside of Israel.
Yeah.
But don't think it's actually the same thing, you're not living
Right.
the same kind of life.
Okay, yeah.
You have to reflect on the fact that we're lacking.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, that's good. Yeah, Kiva.
Just different. Eating is something you kind of take for granted almost.
Right.
So it's a good opportunity to say just the opposite.
Right. That's okay. So I what I'm going to say is a combination of the two. Is I was going to focus on the satiation of being satisfied, and feeling like satisfied means you're lacking nothing. But you use that and recognize, oh, like, no, you are lacking something and your eating was different, and use that to reflect on that. And I think if you said Al Naharos Bavel successfully, then the transition from the first bracha to Al Haaretz V'Al and to Yerushalayim would be much more natural. It's setting you up to reflect properly on Haaretz and Yerushalayim. It's a good minhag, gotta say. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. That's and that's the interesting thing also, is that it transforms the shiur malos into the recognition of. See, I think when people think of shiur malos, those who do think of it, think about the main thing being the geula. But what this does is it's focusing you on the value of Yerushalayim, and the geula is a means of getting back to Yerushalayim. Yeah, that's good. Speaking of Yerushalayim, so given the fact that, as I mentioned, next week I am planning to give shiur, but the week after I'm not. Since next Friday is Asara B'Tevis, maybe we should do something Asara B'Tevis related on Wednesday night. Yeah. Next Friday.
That's a fast, right?
That's fast, yeah. The only fast that can fall out on a Friday. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, Asara B'Tevis every year.
When was the last time we fasted on a Friday?
It's only Asara B'Tevis, and we did it either last year or the year before. The reason why Asara B'Tevis is on a Friday is because, and it's not pushed off, is Asara B'Tevis is the only fast that the Navi mentions is a calendar date. That he says, this day you will remember, and this is the day that you write it in a thing. I gave a shiur on it once. So that's why it's on Friday. Yeah, it's very interesting.
I don't remember fasting.
Yeah.
Did I not fast on a certain
Well, it's like 8 hours long. So.
Yeah, it's very short. It's easy to forget. It's easy to forget that you did it. Yeah. So if anyone has, I guess, if anyone has any specific questions about Asara B'Tevis that you could get into me before Shabbos, like then let me know, and if not, I'll try to find something.
What happened on that day?
The walls of Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim was besieged.
Okay.
And it was it's when it started. And the siege lasted for years, and everyone starved to death. It was very bad. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Good. I'm glad we landed the plane. What was that? That was in Bias Rishon. Yeah.
So I thought a lot of the destruction of Yerushalayim basically happened in the summertime.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
like,
Yep. Okay. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.